So we're moving on to number theory section 2, greatest common factor and least common multiple. Probably have seen this before, just want to make sure that we are comfortable with it, so it should be a pretty short video. The key to these things is we're always dealing with 2 or more numbers. And when you're looking at them, you're going to look at the first word of each. So greatest common factor, that means we want something big. Least common multiple, that means we want something small. So the greatest common factor is the largest factor two numbers share. And remember, factors are the numbers that create it. So like for 6, the factors would be 2 and 3, also 1 and 6. Okay, so factors are numbers that are smaller than. Least common multiple, then, are numbers that are bigger. So like if we're looking at the number 4, a multiple would be 8 and 12 and 16. And we want the smallest multiple two numbers share. I think every student I've had has been comfortable with the concepts, but they get them mixed up. So it's important to look at the word greatest and least and what you're looking for, okay? So greatest common factor of these numbers, well, the easiest way to do that is to write in the factors. Now, the way that I like to do it, okay, is I'll write in 1 and then 36. And we know that all the factors are going to fit in between those. So I know that 36 is even, so it has to be 2 and 18, because 2 times 18. Okay, and then looks like 3 and 12. 4 and 9. And then 6 and 6. So now my numbers look kind of weird, but if you wanted to, you can always group them together like that if you're on a computer. But if you're on your own, you can just write them any way you want. But that's how I like to write them. Now I have all of the factors of these numbers. Okay? So for 24, I'm going to do the same type of thing. 1 and 12. Oops, don't write 12. 1 and 24. Well, then 2 and 12. 3 and 8. 6 and 4. So those are all the factors there. And I'm looking for the greatest common factor of these two. So the largest number that these two share looks like 12. So the greatest common factor of 36 and 24 is 12. Okay? One thing you can do to shorten up the process is always start with the biggest number. Okay? For both of these types, it's easiest to start with the biggest number. Okay? So I'm going to start with 90. And I'm going to go 1 and 90. 2 and 45. 3 and 30. 4 won't work. 5 does, though. 5 and 18. 6 and 15. 7 doesn't work. 8 doesn't work. 9 does, though. 9 and 10. All right. So I'm trying to get one of these factors in 60, and I'm looking for the biggest one. So I'm going to change colors here. Actually, let's go green. We don't go green very much. So 1 and 60. So that one didn't work. 2 and 30. Oh. At this point, you can keep doing it. You can go 3 and 20. But all the factors are going to be smaller from this point on. So if you notice at this point that your biggest factor is already there, it's 30. That only works if you start with the biggest number every time. Okay? Try these two on your own. So for the top one, 1 and 48, 2 and 24, 3 and 16, 4 and 12, 6 and 8, and that should be all of them. For the bottom, 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12. There it is. Bottom here, 1 and 95. Can't be 2, can't be 3, can't be 4, could be 5. 5 and 19. Can't be 10, can't be 15. I think that's it. So on the bottom, 1 and 45, 5 and 7, and that's it. So our answer looks to be 5. Okay. Least common multiple is very similar. What we do for this is we're trying to make multiples, which means bigger numbers. Once again, we want to start with the bigger number and work our way up. So 16, 32, 48, 64, 80, 96. Now you can stop whenever you want. I usually go about 5 numbers and then I'll start again for the next one. Now we're trying to find the smallest number. So we're looking for 32 first, then 48, then 64. We want the smallest one. So 12 goes 24, 36, 48. Oh, we got it. The least common multiple is 48. Here on the bottom, same idea. 12, we go 24, 36, 48, 60, 72. Now you can go as far or as short as you want as long as you get that right answer. So on here we're looking 8, then 16, then 24. And we found it. Try these two on your own. A little long on time here. So the least common multiple, just to shorten it up, least common multiple for the top one is 10. This one should have been 42. If you have questions, please ask me. So for the sake of shortening up the time, we have a quick little story problem here. We want to make a bag for a party favor. We're having friends over for a birthday party. We want to be able to give them a cool little bag for artsy stuff. In order to do that, though, and to make it fair, we want to have the same number of pens and the same number of harmonicas in every bag. Okay, so we have 50 pens and we have 30 harmonicas. We want to have the same number in each. So, you know, you can't have a bag with 2 pens or 3 pens and 4 pens. All the bags need to have the same, and all the harmonicas need to be the same, but they can be different in each. Okay, so like you could have a bag of 5 pens and 3 harmonicas. That would be fine, type of thing. Okay, so we want to make the largest number of bags that we possibly can, but it's fair for everyone. So give this a try, see what you can do. So the way I did it is I just kind of visualized each number of pens. So I can split the pens up into 5s. So there could be 5 pens in each, or I could split them up into 10s. So if the pens were split up into 5s, that means each bag has 5 pens. That means we have a total of 10 bags. And if we split them up into 10s, that means we have 5 bags. So all I'm really looking for is, if I split them up into 10 bags, how many harmonicas would be into each? Because obviously we don't want 5 bags, we want as many bags as we possibly can. So if it's 10 bags, that means there'd be 3 harmonicas in each. So the answer would be 5 pens, 3 harmonicas. Now the way that you could have done this using greatest common factor would be to find the greatest common factor between these two numbers, and it would have been 10. So it would have told you that there are 10 bags, and you figure out how many go in each. But it's really just kind of a critical thinking problem. Okay, if you have questions on that, please ask me. The assignment should be posted on the website.